Hello and God bless you. This is Ellen Mongan, and I'm the host of Deacon and Dear. Hi, Deacon.
Hi, dear.
How we doing this day? It's Valentine's Day. Look at
Yay.
that. It's the only hard to get five. I find take five. That's my take five. But it is Valentine's Day, and Jesus lives in our heart. And because of that, we try our best to do what the Word of God says, to love our spouse and to
Amen.
walk in His ways, and walk in Jesus' ways. And also, I try really hard to be submissive without being a doormat.
Amen.
Because I was once a doormat. It wasn't
Yes, you
really.
were.
It wasn't really healthy for me, but it was great for Pat.
Sure.
And I will tell you, get him alive. I think it was a shock.
Made life easier, simpler,
Yeah, simpler, easier, but not.
but not much fun.
Yeah, now I'm real. But we've been married 48 years. Coming up May 1st, we have 8 children, and that's what we do. The Deacon and Dear. In the Scripture, it's very clear. The older woman would teach the younger woman how to love their husbands and their children. And then there's a whole other paragraph about the older man. We don't think of ourselves old. We think of ourselves as mature, seasoned, alive.
Until we get up in the morning.
Seniors with life. We just recovered from
COVID.
the big C word.
We had
I'm getting the T-shirt.
COVID, and we're just getting over it, regaining our strength, and we were both bedridden basically for 2 weeks.
But the good news.
It was horrible.
But Pat's a physician, so the good news is we now have the antibodies, which means we can get on a plane and go to St. Martin's if we want to this time.
Thank goodness
And
for our
we're thankful to not be
natural
living in fear.
immunity. There you go.
We didn't really live in fear anyways.
No.
We did try to stay away from people if we thought we were ill, which wasn't.
But I understand those who've gone through it, and when it's really, really bad, it's like my doctor brain said, oh, you're going to be fine, but there's a part of me that said, I'm going to die. It was awful.
We don't want to brag, but to top it off, I was sick first with 2 weeks of fever, over 101, and I have a 97.3 starting point, like most people. I'm half dead when I get to my normal. And we had my 95-year-old mother there visiting us, who is not needed at anyone's house but ours, and she was a delight. Except for she was her best self. She did spray water over the shower all over Pat. She felt bad, fever, kneeling down to clean up the water, and there were a few things, but you know what? She's 95. She's spry, healthy, and strong. Has a little cancer of the bladder. Y'all can pray, but it made it like such a stretch on our human flesh, because normally you could rise above your flesh when your mother's there and be like, oh, it's okay. But then when you have fever and you're not feeling good, it wasn't our best visit, but she was very good about saying, I had a good time. I go, Mom, we were ill the whole time.
And thank goodness, though, she has had the vaccine, because she got it and was not very sick at all.
So today we just share a little about our life, but in reality, we want to share a little bit about Valentine's Day. Now, one day I was in Hawaii, and my son Tyler, all I wanted was a lei. All I wanted was a lei. Tyler, don't you have the plane in Hawaii and they put a lei around you and they go, aloha? He said, not really, Mom. He says, and so he finally did buy me a lei on like the last day. It was Mother's Day. And I was complaining because I was thinking we should do something fun, because I'm all about celebration, right? Celebration.
Oh, yes.
Making the ordinary extraordinary, because every day is the same, especially for a woman that has a lot of kids, which now my kids are grown. You want some days to be special. And Tyler's brilliant word was that every day should be Mother's Day. And I said, yes, but it's not. And the same with Valentine's Day. I've heard a lot of people say, oh, it's a secular holiday. No, it isn't. Deacon Pat will tell you that Valentine's Day is about Saint Valentine, right?
Love.
Love. So what is Saint Valentine? Do you want to say anything about him?
Well,
We didn't
I
read
think
about him today.
The thing about the scriptural love is that we choose to love each other
That's your
in
sick.
spite of our difficulties. And as Ellen was sharing, she wants to go the nth degree, and the family is always talking about and knows well that Ellen likes to make people feel special
Extraordinary.
and
Right.
do
Above and
celebration, go above and beyond.
So that's why I don't
And
celebrate
me-
everything for everybody.
And this is the difference in terms of gifts. Me, I'm thinking, more dishes that I have to do,
I say paper or don't do them. I'll do the dishes.
more food to put away, more
I
cleanup.
say I'll put away the food. You know, when you love people a lot, you know, especially if you had 8 children and one was in heaven, so we didn't have to raise him, we had to carry him, and we had to mourn him, and we had to love him, which we still do. But if you had a lot of children, then what someone that has not done a lot of things that way would think was a big deal to someone like me, I'm going. We had 15 people to dinner every night, so when Pat goes, you want to have company? I go, well, just 2 people. It doesn't even phase the same.
Ellen was very good at making our home a kid-friendly home, and the kids in the neighborhood all loved to come, and they would eat dinner at our house. Sometimes, 3 or 4 kids in addition to our own 7, and so. And our rule was that they had to call their parents and ask the parents if it's okay, because we weren't going to be the policeman.
Mm-hmm. But the thing is, to me, that's why some things that seem like a big deal. Like Pat was a doctor. He went to work, and the nurse kind of scalpel. I mean, I don't know how she did. I wasn't there. No. I'm thinking that she was like, "Could you give me a pen?"
First of all, that's a mistaken idea.
Nobody
had a
she was his
nurse.
servant.
Nobody had a nurse.
I'm thinking that like he woke up and he went to work, and it was like he was on vacation.
Amen.
At home where I
Yes.
lived, my life was totally different. It would be like you pour a glass of milk and someone spills it. You clean up the wash and make the bed and someone jumps on it. I mean, my life was a whole bunch of doing it and then doing it again. That's why we say I love double work, to which I'm just halfway joking and being sarcastic, because I have done so many things and nothing really phases me except for maybe sweeping, which I never learned to do because I guess we had always had that broom, that electric broom. So we do have to come from a different spot when you're a mother and
Sure.
and when you're a husband that goes to work, you come home, and at least for Pat, the house is always perfectly clean.
And I would always have to tell fathers, men, hey, just remember that your real work starts when you get home. Because you think that, I've been at work and dealt with this and that, and I'm too tired. But no, you can't use that as an excuse. You still need to take care of your kids, take care of your wife, take care of your family, to the best of your ability. So it requires work.
Now we're like on vacation, we're empty nest. We really don't have as much to do, although we do some things that other couples don't do. We always host a friend group once a month, and we enjoy that, even though it's more dishes for Pat. Let's talk about Valentine's Day, though. I listened to a lot of podcasts this week about Valentine's Day. I was so in tune with the One Catholic Mom. It was so true. Lisa and Daniel were very candid to the wives, and they were saying, and I agree, you have to kind of tell your husband the blueprint. Like it is
expectations.
Yeah, what do you think today should look like? And when you're a young bride, or you think that they're going to think of it, but if they haven't thought of it in 47 years or 48, you have to like say, "This is what I'm thinking." We usually truly go out of town on every holiday. I told my prayer partner Judy today, we go out of town every year. We go out of town for birthdays, anniversaries. Why? That's what I enjoy. And besides that, when I'm home, I'm kind of a workaholic, and I'll start doing the dishes, even their paper. I'll start picking up the house, even though it's already clean. I'll start putting Pat's vitamins away. And organize everything. I'm going to order because I don't like any kind of disorder. But for some magical reason, like miraculously,
all the counters have to be clear.
Everything off, nothing. Toaster and microwave is in the pantry. But if I go away, honey, some miraculous thing happens to me, and I'm able to leave things disorderly. Even my suitcase just explodes all over the room. Yes. So I am able to do that. That's
one extreme or the other, right, baby?
That's what I like about going away. There was this one place we stayed in, Hilton. Do you remember, honey? Mm-hmm. And I walked the house, and they had like a number of chairs, like maybe 30. And I began to. There was 2 bedrooms.
Rearranged.
I began to put all the chairs in one room because I couldn't even begin to think. I go, baby, I'll put them all back later because I'll remember right where they go. And guess what? I didn't remember. So I put them back as best as I could, but I just go away for the relaxation of the ocean breeze and the walk on the beach. And we didn't do that this year. Why, Deacon Pat?
We're recovering from COVID.
I said we can't go to dinner for Valentine's Day because we're exhausted. All things were like, I cannot even make it through a shopping. And those who know me know I love to shop. Went to Christmas shop today, and I was exhausted afterwards. But the good news was as we were thinking about what we were going to do, we have a little bathtub that does like a whirlpool. But then we got the call. It's Audrey's birthday. Our daughter Tara was hosting a little party for Audrey, who was 10. We couldn't miss it. So when you have a large family, the best laid plans, especially if you live in the neighborhood with almost all your grandkids and your children, you have to kind of alter and balance and juggle, right? So our Valentine's Day was this. Lisa, let's do the podcast. So here we are. And our podcast is about this. State your expectations clearly. I would say in advance. Like, I goes, we about to eat. I go, totally, no, I'm going to waste the food. It's just, I can't even, eating's not my big thing. And it's really not a big thing now.
One of the things I've learned is that when holidays come up and things, sometimes I'll do something, but more often than not, I'll say, okay, honey, what are your expectations?
I would always say, let's go to the ocean.
There we go.
So we're going to postpone that trip. We really need to take a retreat. Another thing about Valentine's Day is, God first, because when you have your heart set on God and your heart's on each other, it does go smoothly. But when you begin to run out of wine, they have no more wine. What do? In Jesus, they said, ask Jesus, and he had to turn the water into wine because sometimes you run low because you've been ill. We had a 95-year-old mother come over, which was a delight for her, and I'm sure. And then we have, because we're back in Georgia, we've had a number of children float back for a while, like seasons. So I say we have roommates, and we just like to get away. How about you? What do y'all do for Valentine's Day? You could write me at Deacon and not Deacon and Dear. Ellen.
Wow, Ellen.
So I had a cough, and that's not COVID. That's just me coughing, not my whatever. It's Ellen at yahoo.com, and you can email Deacon Pat if you have theological questions. For me, the romantic ideas, because that's totally what I'm going to tell you, of what to do and what a woman likes. And what about you, Deacon Pat? How they reach you? So sorry.
PMONGAN at augusta.edu. And so one of the things that Ellen and I, every morning we pray together.
We do. Sometimes before you get to bed.
We pray for each other, and that one of the things that hopefully you are able to say at this point in your life, and if not, this is where you need to grow in terms of seeing your spouse as a gift to you.
Gift. Okay, good.
A gift to each other.
Okay, and don't say
sexually. Yes,
that's right.
That's right. And a gift in terms of different personalities and different skills and gifts to share in the family.
I think that's good. Oh yeah, I've forgotten about that. But don't men, don't say, like, by the way, I am the gift. Some women don't like that. My gift is the truth. I don't expect Pat to buy me a gift because for one thing, that's not really his gift, right? And so then we go away and we have fun and enjoy, because really we both narrow it down to our flavor of love is time well spent. And Pat's is encouraging words, and time well spent together is something you can. Pat's 75 this year and I am 68, and we just treasure those times. We can just kick back and do that, mostly because in the reality of life, we both put our work really way up there with things to do. And so my work as writer and speaker, and Pat's as a deacon, takes up a lot of time, and we really do need to get away and say, let's just see what's new with you. But we do calendars and things as that. So the gift that Pat is to me, because Pat's so brilliant, and I wasn't the girl looking for someone to look like Cary Grant, although Pat was very handsome, and he did wear those polyester pants, but he was very handsome, and he was stable-minded, and he was also a little more grown up than the guys I dated before him, because I was in the college age thing, not the 19-year-old girl. And so, and I didn't date a lot of pilots. I was a flight attendant, but I didn't date any pilots, I don't think at all, maybe one. But I was going to say that what you're looking for in your mate, and we talked about before, mates that we really admire, and then when you marry a long time, you might start thinking that gift is no good anymore, but it is. So you have to keep opening the gift. So the gift he is to me is that Pat he is a hard worker like Martha, and I'm a prayer like Mary. So I always say, baby, I'll pick up the slack on whatever you don't want to do. Like, I'm the orderly freak, and that is what I pick up the slack on, but I will also do the dishes, but he has a certain way to do the dishes, the dishwasher.
Right.
We're both a little, we're getting old and set our ways. My mom was surprised. I told her, to her response was that, no, I probably do the dishwasher just like Patrick, to which she did not. See, so that was so we try to get the dishes clean in the dishwasher, and if you put the things where you clog the water and the water can't get to the dishes, of course they're not going to get clean.
Right.
So we have that, and then we both are thrifty in different ways as well, which is great because Pat does now do our grocery shopping. Although I throw things in the cart that he wasn't thinking of eating, but that was what I was going to eat, and he also takes care of the budget, because that's not really. If it was my gift, I really wouldn't even prefer it, because a lot of people really like numbers and math, and I really like people and entertaining. So for my gifts, entertaining is a big one. I don't mind the work.
Yep.
I hospitality everyone.
That's a way in which Ellen is definitely a gift to me and to our family in terms of pushing me to celebrate, to do things with others, because I tend to be a person who is introverted and perfectly happy in my office, reading and studying and learning.
We're putting a do not enter sign in there. No, soon. It says cave. They say though, the old Indian saying is, if your husband goes in his cave, but that we can't count your house as a cave, don't enter. Go shopping, and I take that as a word from the Lord. You go shopping.
He goes in there upset or angry.
Let him. No, but even men do need some time to think things through. If you're going through a hard time during this Valentine's Day, we're going to give a word to y'all. There are times in marriage that there's ups and downs. There's valleys and mountains. There's also plateaus. There's like ordinary day, just like in the church. There's time of pruning, like Lent. There's times of rejoicing, like Easter. Every day isn't a
holiday.
It isn't. And Mother, I think it's St. Teresa says that Blessed Mother said to her, we can't promise you happiness on this earth, but in heaven. But then if you're a couple married, no, you can't make it. It can't be your purgatory either. There's help for everyone. In the Catholic Church, we have Rectify, Marriage Encounter. We have mentoring couples. We also have people that are your friends. But I did learn a lot this week about don't pick the friend. I learned from Janet's show. It was great. We were doing a little Zoom with the people from Women of Grace. And you really don't want a friend that lets you gossip with them about your spouse. And I have always been a listening ear to my friends, and they don't do a bad job with that. They're not that my friends are big gossips, but to direct them back to the Lord. And if you can't do that, then they're probably not a friend that you want to spend a lot of time with. Yeah. In the South, we just like this, hey, how you doing? And that's acquaintances. Friends are people that you can let your hair down with, and they can lead you to Christ. You go, wow, I haven't thought about it.
What's the fruit of your relationship?
Yeah, the fruit. Like, men don't do this. I'm afraid men don't have anybody to dump on. Pat doesn't even dump on me, so they kind of guard their tongue and just bring it to the Lord, which is probably the better way. But we need to kind of talk it out sometimes.
Yes.
So,
yes.
I
did learn between men and women.
I did learn something this week. I gave a podcast. I tell people I do my podcast.
Honey, what did you learn?
Thank you. I do a podcast and I listen to it later, and Pat goes, "Why do you listen?" Because I don't know what I'm going to say, just like today. I open my mouth, and God fills it, and I learn. And I learned this. If you have trouble with someone, it may not be the last thing they said that hurts your feelings, because you're like, that's the first thing in your mind. It's because they did this or that. It may be something 10 years ago or 20 or 30 that they did. So a really good idea, especially at Valentine's Day, if you're having a hard time thinking, why am I not excited about this, or my husband, or man, do I even want to do Valentine's Day? Write a forgiveness sheet and look at all the things that person did ever to hurt your feelings. I really do think they're healthy. Now, a lot of people burn the forgiveness sheet. It's just the act of sitting before the Lord and saying, Lord, what is really bothering me? Is it the way he buttered his bread left to right and I butter right to left? No, of course not. It's people hurt your heart. And I'm not talking only your spouse, because we had my 95-year-old mother visit me, and there's always those hurts when you're a kid too. And you have to look at your life and go, what is it that really bothers me about this? Am I really mad about they didn't buy me the present, or they didn't want to spend time? To do some soul searching this Valentine's Day. Now, maybe tomorrow would be a better day, because it's getting to be later today, and when you're tired, little things look gigantic, and when you're not tired, they just seem to diffuse. So it's a really good time to sit down and say, right, we always say put what we're thankful for in the Bible, but this is something that maybe you have some past hurts, and maybe the way your dad treated you And that's why you can't get close or intimate with your husband. My dad was like my hero, so that
Right.
didn't happen with us. And we think, again,
Unforgiveness can block the flow of God's love so that you can love others. And one of the things that we're trying to focus on
in this,
is
see,
the commandment that Jesus said
that'd be
to
Vandy.
love your enemies. I mean, that's the kind of love that God has. Is He wants us to go way beyond ourselves in terms of, it's not enough to just love your spouse. That's the first,
Mhm.
besides God and your family. But He wants you to even love your enemies. So you got to pray for your enemies. And so that's something we have actually
Embrace.
tended to neglect, but we're working on that every day in terms of praying for our enemies within the church and without.
And I heard something interesting too. Another key thing is, it was on a podcast I did with Emily Jaminet. We did one on balance in life, and she said she always has a sister that's younger than her in a motherhood, and one older, and it's kind of good for mentoring too, to have someone younger, as a couple, be friends, some couple that's younger, because they have that spark of like, we're so in love, and look at the way he
Enthusiasm,
smiles.
yeah.
And then you got the older couple, they're the reality check. Like, you know what, we had older couples for a while ago, they don't even seem like they like each other. But we learned that, no, being real with each other, you don't want to be hurtful, like stick the knife in their heart and then turn it. But you want to be real enough to say, when you do that, it really hurts me because I have arthritis or whatever it is, where I would just suffered under Christ before, like, oh wow, that hurts when he touches my arm because I have arthritis, get up and down my arm and pains. And said I go like this, it really does hurt. Does it really? Okay, then, because it really is good to be honest but not hurtful. How do you want to address that, Deacon? It's not your
Well, sure,
hurtful.
you can be honest without yelling and saying you're a bad person. And,
But to be more honest is, as you get mature
Yes.
in your relationship, you do become
should
more
be- exactly.
free. I think it's a matter of trust. When you're new in
Yeah.
your relationship, you feel like you love them and they love you, but how much would they love you? If they even knew
If they really know you.
Yeah, and then you get to that point where you really know that we always say to each other, I'm not going anywhere. Which
Amen.
means a trust built.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere, but I will organize that by those vitamins again. I'm that wife that when they this is funny. I'm sorry, I'm off the mark, but I'm gonna tell you anyways. We have a friend that's like me, and she's in Florida. She's in where we were in Melbourne, and her husband is not a organized freak like she is. So yeah, she said one day I just organized his toolbox. And he was really surprised. But if you're that wife, the husband needs to think of you as a gift. Be a delight. Be a delight, because they don't have to do it then. See, I never was a wife that said I had to pick up my husband's underwear off the floor. I was always like, this is my job. I don't mind picking it up after him. Look at how nice the room looks. The bed's made. Everything's in order. And he's thinking, instead of thinking that's a gift, he was thinking like I was being a little bit in his
Too
space.
controlling.
But to me,
because
no.
I know where my stuff is.
So I think if you're the wife that gets mad about the underwear on the floor, you say, by the way, did you think there was a maid? I never have to do that because I don't mind being the maid or the trophy wife. I don't mind being anything to Pat. I want to be there for him. But we have the different gifts. Treasure those gifts. Don't make a gift a bad thing.
Work together to make the gifts benefit each other.
That's good. But then if one person is really the neat freak and the other guy isn't, be thankful that they pick up the stuff because it's not messy anymore. Hey, these are ways that when you get older in marriage, you could really glean from. You can go, okay, and totally you're getting to know us as Deacon and Dear, and we're real people. We have a real life. We've faced a lot of trials, and we faced a lot of good things. We had 3 daughters married in a year and a half, followed by 3 parents dying within that same year and a half. I had 10 car crashes in a year and a half, followed by 6 moves in 5 years. So you know what? Life can be an adventure. It could be ordinary or it could be extraordinary. Depends on what glasses you're looking out of. Don't look out of rose-colored glasses because that usually distorts the view. Look out of eyes of love. Look out through the eyes of Jesus.
Amen.
Want to close this off, Deacon, as we have to eat our BLTs. That's right tonight because it's something we felt was going to taste good.
I think that we're both very thankful that we
Grateful.
recovered from COVID.
And Mom went to be with Julie. We're thankful for Julie because Mom feels happy there where it's warm and she has her own chair. She does a lot of times. So we're thankful for that.
And
And we're thankful
natural immunity. So we're
Yes.
thankful. We're not worried about masks and all the other stuff because we've had COVID and
And we just didn't have a
fine.
little COVID. We had a big, we had like, God gives abundance of COVID so that we know for sure. Pat actually took the test twice because I had fever for 2 weeks and I took the test and he took the test I was on week 3 and he was you were on day like 8 and it came out really fast. I have COVID. Just like when you're pregnant, you're like, I'm not a little pregnant. I am totally pregnant. And so then he took the test again a week or 2 later, and he still had it. It wasn't like I'm pregnant. Like it was like a little positive. And so be careful. That's when you have to be. What they talk about a lot is love one another. In the world we're in, it's not loving to not wear the mask or go out with a fever. We know that. If you're ill, stay home. But once you're recovered, you go, yippee, I survived. You buy the T-shirt.
Jesus.
So thank you for listening today. It's a little bit entertaining because we wanted to be Valentine's Day to be a time when we discover love in a new way. And there's a lot of good books we'll share sometime soon about some of the books we've been reading for marriage. But it's your journey. It's Pat and my journey. We've been journeying 47 years, come up 48 May 1st. It's our journey. And it's going to be different and look different than yours. There's no cookie cutter Christians. There's no grandchildren Christians. There's people walking with Jesus. Hand in hand.
Like I like to say,
Okay.
to sum it up, it's me and we walking with He.
That's good. I like that. Me and we walk with He. So from Deacon and Dear tonight, happy Valentine's Day to all. Do something special. Don't do what we do. Do something that she likes. Don't do what he does. Do something I do. Do something that he likes. You know your husband. If not, when in doubt, ask. So we're traveling along, singing a song, side by side. You enjoy the day.
Bless you.